Hi everybody! Now, I remember both my daughters doing a mini topic on Victorian inventions, and that's kind of inspired me to do this video where, as most of you know, I love a bit of Victorian history, and what better than their inventions? So I thought I'd do a kind of, not a top 10, but a kind of 10 of the items that were invented during Victorian times. Let's start with one in the 1930s, photography. And the first photographs that were taken in Britain, William Henry Fox Talbot. Now, this was the start of a big craze. I don't know whether you know, photography is still quite a thing these days, although slightly different with mobile phones, etc. So not quite as many printed photographs out there. But within a few years, every single town and city and almost a village sometimes had their own photographic studio, and it was big business. Admittedly, there were a few odd things going on. If you had a family portrait, have a look. They weren't always all alive. Basically, if you died before a family portrait, they would quite happily dress you up in all your finery, prop you up next to them, and keep you in the family photo. Now in 1839, Isambard Kingdom Brunel designed the first paddle steamship. Now this was the start of another big industry. Actually, that's a bit of an understatement. A big industry, small understatement. Steam was massive, and within a few short years it was on the railways, and by the 1880s it was used in power stations to produce electricity. Actually, the Victorian invention my daughter did was the firefly. Steam train. 1840. Okay, I've got one for you here. Postage stamps. Now, there we go. This one here. Actually, not completely this one here, but the penny black. It was the first adhesive stamp. It was used for letters weighing less than ½ an ounce. Anything more than that, and the 2p blue was used. The penny red actually came out in 1841, replacing the penny black. 1843, and it's the Christmas card. Something that so many of us don't really think about, and we just kind of do religiously. I know I've got piles of Christmas cards that I've actually never sent. They're all addressed, they've all got names on, but they kind of sit there and I go, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that tomorrow. And you just never do. So I think Christmas cards are on their way out. There's always going to be a place for them somewhere, but not as much as there was. The Christmas cards first designed were by John Callcott Horsley. They tended to be with a festive scene. The tradition was for them to depict the Christmas story, so it would normally show Mary or Jesus or the stables or the star. These days you can pretty much get anything on a card. Traditional, cute and funny, sometimes all rolled into one. I have to admit, I do love this one. Link in the doobly-doo below where you can get these Christmas cards from. They're epic. Ooh, tasty one next. 1851, and it was the ice cream. A tasty treat here, and they come in so many shapes and sizes these days. Obviously slightly more basic back in the past. Jacob Fussell in the USA was the first to mass produce it in a factory, so it is he we have to thank for all we have now. It all came about from having excess cream, so he made ice cream with it. Just a year later, in 1852, and something I really think we do take for granted, a flushing toilet. The first public one was opened in 1852 in London. I'm not quite sure how we would manage these days. We're just so used to it, aren't we, just having a flushing toilet. Now over 150 years old, the London Tube. And in 1863 it was the first steam-run underground railway. Oh, that smells good. I've just opened a box because in 1864, another tasty treat. Jelly babies. Oh my god. My daughter's been dying for me to open that box, and I said nope, not until I've done the recording. They were first made by an Austrian in Lancashire, and I bet he never thought they were going to be so popular. But as Tom Baker would say, jelly baby. Oh, sorry. Another yummy one, Easter eggs. Fries of Bristol in 1875 invented these little things, although not with Smarties in at the time. But you can get so many different flavours these days. I'm partial to an orange flavour myself. Now the last one, this one jumped out at me because for the lockdown homeschooling my daughter's doing, she was doing comic strips. And in 1890, the first comic strips in Britain. The first one was produced in Britain called Comic Cuts. Obviously these days, comics are massive, but a lot of old school comics rather than the newer ones. I know there are new ones out there as well, but they're not quite so prolific. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Easter egg? Jelly baby? Oh, just quickly, don't forget, High Street Challenge I'm doing at the moment. Have a look in the doobly-doo below, links in there. Hope you can come and join me.